This song has been performed by hundreds of artists. Its origins stretch back centuries. Nobody knows exactly who wrote it. Nobody can agree on what it's really about. And the place it's named after may or may not have actually existed. Some say it's a warning, others believe it's a confession, and a few insist it's based on a real place in New Orleans. So how did an old folk ballad become one of the greatest rock songs of all time? Today, we dive deep into the Animals' House of the Rising Sun. Hey all, welcome to another deep dive episode where today we have tasked our resident researcher, Danny, to do some research into the song House of the Rising Sun. Here for some opening remarks, Johnny Dynamite.
All right, Crispy Johnny D here, reminding all my fans to hit the thumbs up and like the video, subscribe to the Senior Spinner channel, and ring that notification bell for alerts to new content. So let me get this right. According to the opening, no one knows who wrote it. Did it just fall out of the sky?
Not exactly. Let's let Danny answer that. Hey, Danny.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. For this song, I've assembled 17 pages of research, 4 historical references, 3 maps, and 1 fascinating theory involving 18th century English folk music.
You lost me at assembled.
Danny, hopefully you can simplify it a little.
Certainly. Nobody knows who wrote the song.
Great. You wasted 16 pages.
So, Danny, if the Animals didn't write the song, who did?
That's the fascinating part. No one knows. Most music historians believe House of the Rising Sun began as an English folk ballad sometime during the 1700s, possibly even earlier. Back then, songs weren't protected by copyright or written down very often. People learned them by listening, then passed them along to the next generation.
So it was basically one of the world's first viral hits.
In a manner of speaking, yes, only instead of being shared online, it was shared around campfires, taverns, and family gatherings.
Sounds pretty boring to me.
You know, Johnny, the world did a pretty good job of communicating before cell phones came along.
You should know. I bet you're still proficient with smoke signals.
As people carried the song from village to village, the lyrics slowly changed. One singer might forget a verse, another would invent a new one, and before long, dozens of different versions existed.
So basically, everybody kept editing the song.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons historians have never been able to identify a single songwriter. The song simply evolved over time.
But how did an English folk song end up in New Orleans?
During the 1700s and 1800s, thousands of immigrants from England, Scotland, and Ireland settled throughout the Appalachian Mountains. They brought their music with them. Generations of families continued singing these old ballads, passing them from parents to children. By the early 1900s, folklorists were traveling through the Appalachian region, recording songs before they disappeared forever. One of those songs was House of the Rising Sun.
It's amazing to think a song that survived for nearly 200 years almost disappeared before anyone even heard it on the radio. We've talked about who didn't write the song. Now let's tackle an even bigger mystery. What exactly was the House of the Rising Sun?
The honest answer, nobody knows. There is no historical consensus. In fact, that's one of the reasons the song has fascinated historians for generations.
Wait, you don't know? My brainiac brother doesn't know something?
I know that nobody knows.
Wait, huh?
Nicely done, Danny. That'll keep Johnny's mind occupied for a few hours. So what are the leading theories?
Well, many historians believe the song was intended as a warning. Listen carefully to the lyrics. There is a house they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many poor boys. The singer isn't celebrating life there. He's warning others not to follow the same path, whether that path involved gambling, drinking, crime, or simply making poor decisions. The message is remarkably consistent. Don't make my mistakes.
So now the song is about mistakes?
Possibly, but some people hear something different. They believe the song is a confession. Instead of warning someone else, the singer is admitting responsibility. Notice how the lyrics become increasingly personal. My mother was a tailor. My father was a gambling man. I'm going back. Those lines sound less like advice and more like someone accepting the consequences of their own life.
So now it's about guilt and not mistakes?
Precisely. That emotional ambiguity is one reason the song has survived for centuries.
And then there's the biggest mystery of all. Did the House of the Rising Sun ever exist?
Over the years, dozens of buildings in New Orleans have been suggested. Hotels, boarding houses, taverns, gambling halls, even a women's prison. But historians have never found convincing evidence connecting any of them to the original folk song. Most researchers believe those theories appeared after the song became associated with New Orleans. In other words, people began searching for a real building because the lyrics mentioned the city. The song itself is almost certainly much older than any of those stories. Many historians think the New Orleans setting was added as the ballad evolved in America, giving listeners a real city they could picture while preserving the older moral tale.
Maybe that's why House of the Rising Sun has lasted so long. It never gives us all the answers. Instead, it lets every generation decide for itself what the song is really about. But the version most people know today didn't come from an old mountain cabin. It came from a young musician who would soon change folk music forever.
Exactly. And that's where our story takes a very interesting turn. By the early 1960s, folk music was enjoying a revival, and one young singer was leading the charge. His name was Bob Dylan.
Wait a second, you're telling me Bob Dylan recorded House of the Rising Sun before the Animals?
He certainly did. Bob included the song on his self-titled debut album in 1962. His version was based on a traditional arrangement he had learned from folk singer Dave Van Ronk, one of the respected performers in New York's Greenwich Village folk scene. Like many folk musicians of the time, he performed traditional songs and helped introduce them to a new audience. His recording was simple, just acoustic guitar, harmonica, and his unmistakable voice.
It was still very much an old folk song, but someone across the Atlantic heard Dylan's version and imagined something completely different.
In 1964, the Animals were touring England when they began performing House of the Rising Sun as the closing number in their live shows. Every night, audiences loved it. Eventually, their manager suggested they record it.
So they went into the studio and history happened?
Pretty much. The band had played the song so many times on stage that they were incredibly tight. When they entered the recording studio, they performed the entire song almost exactly as they had been doing live.
And here's something that still amazes people today. The version we all know was recorded in just one take.
One take? There was no multiple cuts with tweaks?
No. What you're hearing is essentially a live performance captured in the studio. That's one reason it sounds so powerful and spontaneous.
Of course, it wouldn't have sounded quite the same without one unforgettable instrument.
Exactly. The organ. Keyboardist Alan Price created one of the most recognizable organ introductions in rock history. Combined with Eric Burdon's emotional vocal performance and Hilton Valentine's distinctive guitar arpeggios, the arrangement transformed an old folk ballad into something completely new. It wasn't just folk anymore. It was folk meeting rock.
And listeners couldn't get enough of it. The song shot to #1 in both the United Kingdom and the United States, becoming one of the signature records of the British invasion.
Not bad for a song nobody could claim they wrote.
That will always remain a mystery.
Thank you, Danny. Another great episode.
What are you thanking him for? He's left more questions than answers. As far as I am concerned, he failed his research for this show.
And you would have done better?
I already did. You want the true story of House of the Rising Sun?
Go for it.
A member of the Animals fell asleep on a beach one night, and when he woke in the morning, he had to go to the bathroom real bad. He scanned the beach, and in the sunrise, he seen a porta potty. Thus, the song was born.
You're an idiot. Please like this video and give it a
What
thumbs
was
up.
wrong with my version?
Subscribe to the Senior Spinner Show
Okay, he woke up on a beach in Japan. Is that better?
and ring the bell for future notifications. Keep spinning.